waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows of Knicks to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidence. coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods where we landed, we're 2 rows the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katy Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words where we landed were 2 rows and next to be commended, we're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. is the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Woods where we landed. Till Row is the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. Woods is where we landed. Till Row is the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Woods is where we landed. Till Row is the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie high like we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Unplugged Unfiltered. I am Brian Clements, again alongside Bob Clements, and tonight on Unplugged Unfiltered, we are talking about, once again, the death of a dream.
Yep.
The Boogieman Effect, and this is going to be an interesting topic. It's something that actually I was having a conversation with a customer of ours with Triton, who was like, well, how do you deal with this, right? How do you deal with the Boogieman Effect? Now, they didn't call it the Boogieman Effect, but we'll go into kind of what the Boogieman Effect.
This should be like a Halloween show.
I know, we're getting close. We're getting close.
Yeah.
So we'll actually take this and then we'll rerun it for Halloween.
There you go. Thanks to all of our faithful listeners. Yeah, we're not going to do a new one for you on Halloween. Just hold this one and wait till October 31st.
Yeah, but I mean, the reality of it is, as I explain this, so the Boogieman Effect, and for those who don't know kind of what I'm talking about, is the Boogieman Effect is when companies or employees invent internal villains to blame for failure. And I think we've all seen that in every business there is, and I won't say every employee, but a lot of employees, they create this boogeyman to blame their failures on. And I think we see it a lot in dealerships, right?
Absolutely.
The sales department, if they had done this, then we would have had a better year. If the service department had done this, they all do it.
Our marketing sucks.
Yeah. And so
it's the marketing department.
But I think that as we kind of talk through this, there's so many areas in where an employee can create the Boogieman Effect, a owner can create the Boogieman Effect, and entrepreneurs themselves can create a Boogieman Effect, even if you're a one-man shop, right?
Sure.
It's like, oh, well,
you can blame the manufacturer.
If the economy was doing better, we'd be better. And so I really wanted to talk about this because, we're getting ready to publicly launch, right, Triton. So Triton is out there. People know about Triton, but we've never done a big public reveal of Triton.
So today your competitors are not like overly excited.
I can imagine. I
saw some posts today that I'm on, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We are ruffling some feathers, and that's okay.
That's all right. That's good.
We
needed them ruffled.
We enjoy ruffling feathers.
Exactly.
And if you guys follow, I will say, first off, thank you for everyone who watches TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, everybody who watches. I know we have, and I will say our lowest view count area is Twitch, but we have one person who logs in every single night. So whoever you are, I can't see who it is, but I appreciate you watching every single night on Twitch. So, but with that, make sure that you guys are following our social media. And then I'm going to push this because Triton is sponsoring these podcasts currently, is follow Triton Softwares and Technology on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'd also encourage you to follow everybody else that has been part of this, whether it's ELO, Connect the Dots. If you're not going to find it directly from Connect the Dots. You've got to type in ctd.ai to find them on social media. Cass and Mike Lazaro, again, an incredible couple, superpower couple, incredible entrepreneurs. Follow them. Everybody who's been part of this, Hi Anthony. So if you go and look up Hi Anthony or Hi Anthony book, that will take you to grade school. Anyways, everybody who's been there, and then also follow Liquid Death because they have some funny ass shit that they put out, and it is incredible.
I love their new ads.
And I know that they have a big.
This is beer, right?
Yes, beer.
No, it's not beer. It's water.
Yes, let's get drunk. No.
That is so funny.
That's the next commercial.
They got some classics.
Yeah. So, anyways, follow all of them. It's hilarious. It's funny to watch. And I know that they've got some cool new stuff that's coming out. So definitely. Give Liquid Death and all of the other people who've always supported us a follow, because that means the world to us. It means the world to them. And that's the whole point of our podcast, right? Is supporting entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter the level of entrepreneur, is support those entrepreneurs. And it will be returned in tenfold to you. Especially if you let us know that you're an entrepreneur and you follow our show. We will definitely shout you out. Just like Chris Clem Art, right? We so are cool. Huge fans of him, and super. I mean, this is like a main staple that has now become part of our podcast booth. Is we always have a piece of his art up. So, but anyways,
and again, if he gets tired of looking at it, he can always send us.
Some
new art. So just saying, it goes like, wow, I've seen that like several times.
I've seen that really. Like, but this
we're waiting.
This one is super awesome. We love it.
He's awesome.
Yeah. So with that, back to the Boogieman Effect, right? Is all of those companies we've talked about, they've all experienced this
absolutely
Boogieman Effect. And we've all, I think everybody to some extent has created that Boogieman in their own life, right? Is we all at some point create a villain to defer the failure for what happened. You know, when I played soccer at a pretty high level. But there was times I was like, well, had the midfielders just done their job, we would have been okay. Had the defender. Oh, I don't know what sunlight was in the goalie's eye today, but it's like, we've all created that Boogieman.
I was laughing when the Chiefs lost their game in Brazil, and somebody said, well, apparently they didn't pay the referees. And I go, they did, but they didn't know that $1,000 of pesos is $12.
Yeah.
So they had it in the wrong currency. We paid them. We just did it with pesos, and they thought 1,000 was a lot.
Yeah. So, we paid them in the wrong currency. We didn't look at the exchange rates before that. But
we're working on that. We're going to fix that.
Absolutely. I mean, and today, with the Boogieman Effect is, we're going to explore how this plays out inside of departments, between teams, and even among peers, and how organizations can replace blame with ownership,
right?
Because that's what you have to do. Is you have to sit here and say, okay, maybe there was another department that didn't perform to its best standard, but that doesn't necessarily keep us performing to our best standard. And so as we kind of go into this is my first kind of question to you, Bob, is in dealerships, have you seen departmental wars?
Never.
Perfect.
That was my pick.
Okay. And that's been a good episode of Unplugged Unfiltered.
Thanks so much for joining us. Oh my Lord. We call it siloing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's the same thing, you know, so everybody gets, so I've got a sales department that is siloed. And if you understand, I grew up on a farm. Brian's been around farms all his life. Still has one.
Yeah.
So a silo is where you hold grains as an example, and it keeps them away from everything else. Nothing can get to it. So we call it the silo effect. So the service department or the sales department is siloed away from the parts department, who is siloed away from the service department, who is siloed away from the rental department, and everybody is siloed away from accounting.
Absolutely.
Okay. So all they know is what's in their silo. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and everything outside of that is the boogeyman, right? The reason we suck at sales is because of accounting won't let us get our margins right. Or the reason that we suck at sales is the service department never has new equipment ready when we needed to do it. The reason we suck at sales is that We don't have the right accessories to go on the unit that we sell, and we have to wait for that.
When it's never the marketing either.
No, it's no. Marketing is never siloed.
Yeah.
So like I told you, I did what I told you guys to do, and I go like, well, I don't care how many impressions you have, how many leads did we get?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it happens all the time, and again, it's not anybody's fault.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, just as a natural course of being a human being, we tend to get in these silos, and then when things are going great, silo's a great place. It's comfortable. Nothing can get in, right? You do things, but that's not the reality of business. There's constantly upheaval and conflict and things like that going. And so if I'm a sales guy and my sales are down, I'm not going, well, gosh, Bob, you suck at prospecting.
Yeah.
Okay. You haven't done any activity to generate new leads. What I'm going to do is not blame me, Brian, but it's because our marketing department sucks.
Yes.
Or people don't do business with us because our service department can't turn it out fine. It can't be me.
Yeah.
So therefore, it has to be this boogeyman that I create out there. And it happens all the time in dealerships. And honestly, it's incredibly detrimental.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because it starts breaking down your whole team and everybody. It starts impacting the customer experience. There's so many things that happen when everybody's looking for the boogeyman.
Absolutely. Well, and as we're talking about dealerships, right? This is not just a dealership issue.
Any business.
Like it happens in every single business. I mean, grocery stores, right? Oh, the meat department didn't do this right, or this. I've never been into a business that they did not blame another department for an issue. Now, sometimes that blame is rightfully put on that business.
It could be.
But other times it's like, well, I have to cover my ass. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to create a boogie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I think to your point, as you kicked it off, this is not necessarily in a company that's got 10, 20, 30, 5 departments, 6 departments. You as an individual entrepreneur, right? You're sitting here and you're going, okay, I need to be successful. I want to be successful. And you go out and you do something and you're not successvel. You're in your own silo.
Yeah.
But you go, the reason I'm not successful is the economy's bad.
Yeah.
Or the reason I'm not successful is my vendor that I'm buying from didn't deliver on time or whatever. And it's not anybody's fault, and it's not necessarily a negative. I think your point in this thing is just to be aware, right? To create an awareness that don't let the boogeyman get you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So I think whether you're a one person operation or you have multiple departments, if you have 15, 20, 100 people, this is a common thing that is very detrimental in business.
Well, and so a question to you is do you feel companies secretly encourage competition that then turns toxic inside of a business? I mean, do you feel like, let's say as a entrepreneur, as a CEO, right? I'm going to say, okay, sales team, I need you to do this, right? Never releasing that goal to any of the other departments, right? Saying, hey, this is what I've challenged the sales team with. If you perform and you can help the sales team achieve that, do you do? They create these secret competitions that no one else is aware of. And I think that's something that I've seen in dealerships and in businesses is where I've set a goal for a department,
right?
Didn't let anybody else know in the business that goal's been set.
But you want to keep that secret.
Yeah. And so
absolutely,
it's like,
that's
hey,
the key to success.
Right now, my sales team is focused on selling X unit, right? I need my service team to understand that my sales team is trying to do this. And they need to be able to be prepared for that, because maybe we have an open house or we have a big promotion from the manufacturer, right? For me, I feel like a lot of that happens. And internally in a business, when you create secret competition, right, the competitor's always going to win. And now you're competing against yourself, which then makes everybody hate everybody.
Yeah. And I don't think owners do it intentionally.
Yeah.
I think the problem that owners have is they don't understand the importance of communicating an idea across all departments.
Yeah.
So I may have the sales department that I have a goal set for the sales department. And so the owners go, well, the only people that really need to understand this is the sales department, because it's the only people that's going to impact.
Yeah.
And again, in kind of a logical sense, it would make sense. But the challenge is that, and I'm going to use the dealership world because that's the world I play in. In the world of a dealership, everything interacts with everything else.
Absolutely.
So in their thought wasn't, I'm going to try to keep it from everybody. I'm not going to bother the other departments with it because it's not going to impact them. And they don't understand that everything impacts everything else in the business.
Absolutely.
So I don't think they do it purposefully.
Yeah.
I just think they do it because I don't need to bother sales because we're going to try to sell more of this. Well, that's great, right? But you don't think about all the accessories that might go with that the parts department is going to have to interact with, or all the PDIs and all the stuff like that's going to happen in service. So again, it happens all the time, Brian. I mean, I would say of all the things that we've talked about, once your business gets going, this is going to be a demon that you're going to have to fight all the time in your business, because it is so easy to slip into this silo or this boogeyman kind of thing going on.
Well, I mean, I already do it now, right? I blame everybody for everything that happens.
That's what's made my business most successful.
I go, well, we didn't hit that timeline. I'm going to blame. Let's see, spin the wheel. Let's see who we're blaming today.
We're just going to blame David.
Exactly.
Dave's who we're going to blame.
And I bet Dave's actually watching this because he is one of our.
Because he's the one that drops the ball all the time. That's our problem.
Dave, don't retire, don't resign, don't quit if you're watching. No, but I mean, and that's even inside of departments. So like, let's bring Dave, Dave is my lead developer for Triton, incredible developer. I'm super blessed to have him on our team with Triton.
He will be the boogeyman tomorrow.
He will be the boogeyman tomorrow. Yeah,
exactly. So.
But even inside of that, we'll use Dave as an example, because if something falls through, right, is inside of that, it'd be very easy for Dave to go, okay, I'm going to blame other people in the development team, other people in the same department, right?
Sure,
so I have my development department of my company. It would be very easy for him to say, oh, well, that didn't happen because of this, or that didn't happen because of this. Typically they come back and go, well, that didn't happen because you added 72 other things to our plate. Yeah. And so now
you're the boogeyman.
I'm the boogeyman, but I'm the justified boogeyman, right?
Exactly.
When I go, hey, Dave, I've got an idea. He goes, oh, shit. Like, oh, no, there goes our timeline again. But, and it's one of those, I think a lot of departments or a lot of employees create that. If there isn't a war, there isn't someone to blame. And the reality of it is personal accountability is a lot easier than pointing a finger.
Absolutely.
And people don't want to go, oh, well, I'm the one to blame for this, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. It's a lot easier to go like, oh, well, it's over there. It's, this situation and that situation and that situation. For me, that is more frustrating to anything. It's like, I don't really care what happened. Right. Tell me, how do we fix this? Tell me what our new timeline looks like. And like, let's just keep fucking moving. But I mean, and I think, I know you've seen it. I mean, the reality of it, and without getting too deep into your business, right? I was in business with you and my sisters, and there was a lot of times where it was like, oh, well, it's, and we would pass blame because it was me and Sarah, right? It was just like, well, it's easier.
You guys always get along.
Yeah, we always got along. But with that, I mean, there is, especially when there comes family involved. Right?
Yeah, that makes it a whole nother complexity.
It's a boogeyman that's in ultra high definition. So it's hard to get past that. But once you get past that, right? I would say once Sarah and I got on the same page in your company, it was a lot easier things ran a hell of a lot smoother.
Well, it did. And again, part of that is, and again, a lot of our entrepreneurs are going to end up being starting off with family in some way. And I always tell people again, it's difficult. Would I ever hire a family member again? Never. And I say that. I mean, I've got, Brian worked for me. Sarah still works for me. Kristen has a phenomenal photography business. The challenge is that it's hard to separate the family part from the business part. So I always tell people again, people say, would you do it again? Probably not. It worked because I had the conversation that says, hey, look, this is a business. This is not family. So suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Right. I've got a business that I'm trying to build here, and we still have to get together on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So however you guys work that out, work it out.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go to one of your funerals because the other one killed them.
Yeah.
But again, I think, it's something that happens all the time. I think it's you can keep it from happening.
Yeah.
But I think its natural tendency is to kind of just happen without you realizing it.
Yeah.
And so, so as I work with the dealerships I work with, and even in our business, I mean, in our business, to keep it from happening, we meet as a team. So we have really kind of two separate companies. We have our dealer success groups that Jeff Blackton oversees and runs. And then we have our marketing and our dealer or manufacturer relations side that Sarah runs. And so they're two very different parts of the company, but we do have overlap with employees.
Yeah.
And so to keep us all on the same page, every Monday morning at 9:00 Central Time, we're all on a Zoom meeting together.
Yeah.
And typically it's an hour and we go through everything in detail. And even though it's not your area, we still go through it because I want everybody to know everything that's going on. And sometimes when people go like, oh, damn, Wendy, I didn't know you had that much stuff going on. Right. Then they have an appreciation when Wendy doesn't get back to them in 30 seconds, because now they know, oh, Wendy's trying to do all this, or Angie's trying to do this, or Kayla's got 8,000 job posts out there that she's looking through all the resumes on. So by meeting, right, what it was able to help me do is to have transparency across, even if you weren't involved with it, I knew it was still important for you to hear what was going on, because while you may not be involved with it, somebody that you're trying to interact with on the team is.
Yes.
And this is the reason they couldn't get back to you probably this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Even though you put a red exclamation point on the email and you had an open read receipt on it, so that was what I did. And it worked great. And we still do it today. So every Monday morning, every 9:00 every Monday morning, we're all on a Zoom meeting. And we used to have everybody around the conference table and the people that remote be on a Zoom meeting. And then I found out that didn't work very well, because the people at the conference table did jokes, had fun, and you couldn't always hear them on the other side. And so the people that were on Zoom meetings started feeling like they were disconnected. Yeah. And so we stopped using the conference room. Everybody got on their computer on the Zoom meeting, on their computer in their office. And that even in itself changed the dynamic. Yeah. So we're all on the same page, doing the same thing, even though five of us could walk down to a conference room and be on the Zoom there. But I just made that change because I felt like as we were doing those things, I was starting to create silo, boogeyman, through that, whether it's an inside joke or nobody else got it, or nobody else heard it. Yeah. And so again, it's just stuff you have to be aware of as an owner.
Well, and by doing that, and by, like what you said, is setting those meetings, right? You basically turned on the fictional flashlight, right?
Absolutely.
And you shined
the proverbial.
Yeah. I couldn't speak,
all right.
But proverbial flashlight.
Words are hard.
They are. Yeah. English is still not my first language.
Math is difficult. Words are hard.
There's not actually a language that's my first language. I'm still trying to figure it out.
You're from Missouri. We have many languages.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Hillbilly being one of them.
Yeah. And if you ever talk to my COO, he has a whole different language.
That's because he's ridden bulls in the past and he's hurt himself.
He has. Yes, he's a bull rider who currently lives in Texas, but is from the Boot Hills of Kentucky. Yeah. Interesting combination, but I love him to death. He's great. But what you did is you shone that flashlight right into a dark area.
Exactly.
Where people go, oh, there's nothing there, right? There's I don't know why this person's not responding to me. What are they doing? There's nothing there, right? And there might not be anything there because first off, it's not a direction that they're necessarily looking in the first place. And when they do look over there, they're seeing a glimpse of what's happening. You're not seeing what's behind the curtain or behind the darkness, right? So you shining that flashlight there, and that then starts to break down the boogeyman effect, and it starts to reduce the cost that the boogeyman effect can create. It costs a lot to have that boogeyman effect.
It is a massive cost to a business to have the silos there.
Well, and I will tell you, so Dave did just comment. He did say, I will take all of the blame as long as I get all of the glory too.
You got it. So, you got it, Dave. I'll make sure at Equip, I'll bring up the fact that this couldn't have happened without Dave.
Yeah.
But there could have been a lot more happen had Dave been more focused.
Had Dave just been on it a little bit more.
He just needed to move the gas up a little bit.
We'd have been on phase, and Dave will get this, phase 92. And so, anyways,
Yeah, Dave has done a great job.
he just said, true. That is true. So, but no, I mean, and that's the thing is going back again. And honestly, what Dave was saying, like, right, I'll take the blame as long as I get the glory too. But that's where someone who doesn't allow the boogeyman effect can understand the cost that the boogeyman effect creates. It's because it creates a slow growth, it creates lost deals, and it creates damaged morale around your whole team. And I will say, not just because Dave is commenting, but Dave does such a great job of taking all of my feedback. I was on the phone with him at 9:00 last night, having a conversation.
I would have hung up on your ass.
Oh, I know you would have.
It's 9:00.
I tried to call you.
I'm watching Survivor.
I tried to call you first, but you didn't answer. So Dave was my next option. But no, I called him and it was one of those, like, he takes it on and says, okay, I will make sure that this happens no matter what. And I know that Dave has stepped up in places where it's like, okay, we're falling behind, or the whole development is falling behind. And he'll step up and take that phone call at 9:00 because he understands that it creates lost deals. It creates it damages the morale of the whole team. And that's what a true leader, I think, needs to understand, is what that does. But also creating that boogeyman, it creates a shit ton of distrust. I mean, politics, right? Internal politics become, and then it shifts the whole feel of a business, I think, when you allow the boogeyman to creep around the corner, right? Because you're always looking around. It's like, who can I blame? What's going on? What's negative? Instead of looking forward, you're always trying to figure out what's behind you.
Yeah, I think I love Survivor. So
yeah.
So I'm going to use a phrase that you're a part of this tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the Survivor, when they first come on, they create two tribes.
Yeah.
And then they kill each other off. And then they say, okay, now we're going to merge those two tribes into three tribes now. And there's more killing. When I say killing, they're getting rid of people off the island. If you never watched Survivor, you should. And then they bring them back and they do a final merge, right? And again, it's just like business, So ultimately, when people are together, kind of in the tribe, your goal again in your business is to create a tribe where people are not trying to kill each other off.
Yeah.
Okay. And the tribe learns how the tribe hunts, and the tribe learns how the tribe fishes, and the tribe learns how we cook and we do things like this. And that's what you're trying to do. When you have the boogeyman, right? If somebody doesn't cook, let's say on Survivor, the rice correctly, okay, and they blame somebody, right? Well, in that world, that person that's blaming the other person who's doing a great job ultimately gets kicks out of the tribe, because they don't want that. They don't want that discontent.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing. It creates this, like you say, it creates this conflict that's going on. And what you're trying to do in business all the time is to build your Survivor tribe, what it is, but you don't want anybody kicked off of the island, right? You're trying to do is to keep everybody informed. And this is what we're doing and how we're doing it. Not trying to keep any secrets. And I don't think business owners try to keep secrets. I just think, as I said in the beginning, I think most business owners don't think it's important for maybe another part of the company to hear it. They don't want to waste their time with it. And what I've learned after 40 years is, even if you don't need to know, the fact that you're invited into the conversation and you get to hear about it makes you feel like a part of the tribe.
Absolutely.
What I'm talking about may have nothing to do with 3 other people in my tribe, but I want them to hear it.
Yeah.
So they have an awareness of it. So they feel like they always know what's going on. We are totally transparent.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the piece of it. But I mean, I've seen, Brian, and I know you have too in dealerships because you've spent a lot of time in dealerships, but I've seen a service department hate the parts department so bad.
Mm-hmm.
They hate them.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not saying they dislike them. They hate them.
Yes.
Okay. So bad that they will go outside and buy parts from somebody other than their own parts department.
Yeah.
Because the parts manager gets a bonus on parts sales and they want to screw the parts manager over.
Yeah.
Right. To do it. And I've seen that happen before. And I go in and go like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
Right. You're spending more money on parts. We should be buying this myself. Well, I hate the parts department here. I'm not going to give them any business.
Yeah.
And I go like, well, hang on. And so I go talk to the owner and goes, that's happening in my dealership. And I go, yeah, that's happening in your dealership. And then I show him how we can fix it. And it's actually a pretty easy fix.
Yeah.
But I just say again, but you don't think it happens. I've seen it happen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I've seen people go, screw the sales department. I got all this work coming in the shop. I don't care what you sell. I'll get to it when I get to it. And I'm going like, Well, hang on for just a second, right? For us to keep our service department busy, we have to sell things that are ultimately going to break.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if we're not helping the sales department sell things, at some point, we're not going to have things breaking anymore and we're going to be out of business.
Yeah.
So your number one priority would be to help a sales department sell more equipment because it ultimately feeds the parts in the service department. They go, well, I hadn't really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I go, that's because you're a dumbass. Okay. Because you're thinking about this and you need to be thinking about all these things. And again, it's not the service manager, the parts manager, the sales manager's fault. I kind of blame it on the ownership because again, they haven't brought everybody together and say, we're breaking down these silos.
Yeah.
Right. And so sales. So what do you got going on this week? And how do you need the service department to help you with that?
Yeah.
Service, what do you got going on this week? And how can you have the sales department reach out to some of their customers and tell them what's going on? Right.
Absolutely.
Parts, how are we doing on parts and back order? So I think once it breaks down, right, then it all works great. But I'm just telling you, it's something that you constantly battle because if you're not always battling it, the boogeyman in the dark of night will always end up under your bed.
Okay? 100%.
Right. And you have to fight it. You literally have to fight it all the time.
Yeah. Well, and I think so, like what you were saying, you know, it starts from a leadership role.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Is the leader of whether it's the departments, they have to go, okay, hey, you know, we're going to get rid of this stigma of the boogeyman, right? Or the owner, if it can't be handled at a management level, the owner needs to step in.
Absolutely.
But I think again, and like you said, is owners a lot of time or leaders kind of can create the boogeyman.
Right.
I think of one specific dealership in a small town in Tennessee, right? That
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that
our little hurricane.
Our little hurricane. But that was like the biggest boogeyman creator, right? Because when he would walk in, he was creating tensions against every single department. And now these departments are competing instead of competing separately instead of competing on the same page. But what do you feel like as a leader that they could do to say, okay, I want to remove this boogeyman mentality from my business, or even an entrepreneur. If we go outside of the dealerships, let's say advice for me, right? As I started a brand new business, we're getting ready. What are some steps that someone could take that say, okay, here are 3 things that you could do that would alleviate the potential for that boogeyman. I know for you, one of those things is a weekly meeting, right? Having those weekly meetings. And we do that. We do a weekly meeting in our team. We do about 72 weekly meetings.
Well, right now you're developing a company, so you're going to meet a lot.
But
that'll thin down as you move forward.
But weekly meetings, because I know that like unclear goals and misaligned like KPIs or key performance indicators, right? Those can be that fuel for a inter-team war. But how can you create clearer goals, or how can you make sure that the KPIs are aligned so that you don't, as a leader, create a boogeyman?
Well, I think again, before you create a goal, you have to have a vision.
Yes. Okay.
And so I grew up in the 60s. I always tell people, if you grew up in the 60s and you remembered the 60s, you probably did not participate in the 60s. So, but I grew up in the 60s. I loved science. That was one of my passions. And I loved the space program. And I remember in the early 60s when President Kennedy, at that point, before he was assassinated, basically set our country on a mission. And the mission was to put a man on the moon and bring him back. We were fighting against the Soviet Union. They were the evil empire, so to speak, the boogeyman that we had. And so he said, I think it was in 62 or 63, he said, he's going to put our country on a course, on a mission. And he said, before the end of the decade, which would be before 1970s, we're going to put a man on the moon and bring him back safely. And we didn't have the capability to do it. I mean, if you watch any of the old shows on rocketry, most of the shit went up and blew up. And there's not many people that want to say, I'll ride that baby. Light it up, says John Glenn, and let's run with it. But the first thing you have to do is have a vision. And I would say, again, most companies don't have a clear vision. Okay, but once you have, because his vision was, let's put a man on the moon and bring him back. I tell people again, we didn't have the technology, we didn't have the understanding, we didn't know how to do it, but he got everybody focused on one vision. As a country, this is what we're going to do. And when you have everybody focused on a common vision, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Elon Musk is great at this with his companies. Elon Musk basically casts a vision and he brings in the smartest people in the world. He gives them money. He goes, okay, I want this rocket to re-land itself. Okay. Well, nobody can do that. Well, you guys are pretty smart, right? You know what my vision is.
Absolutely.
Make it happen. You know, and there were several times that it did not re-land themselves and they crashed off, but he didn't get pissed off, right? Right. So, I mean, that was the thing. He made sure there was no boogeyman. It's nobody's fault. Right. I think when one of them exploded in air, people say, well, what's that like? And the guy said, well, it looks like we had a rapid disassembly of a rocket in space. And they're like, you mean it blew up? He goes, yeah, that would be a rapid disassembly of the rocket. But anyway, so, you know, Elon Musk, I think, is a good example of he doesn't allow boogeymans to get created.
Absolutely.
He hires the best people and does them. And so again, so once you've got a vision, right, that's an important part. And the vision is just where are we going? You know, tell me what we're trying to do here. Then you can set a goal. Okay. And so that's kind of what we're going to call the mission. Okay. How do we get to this vision? And I think that's the first thing. You got to have a vision. So I would tell everybody, even if you're just a one-person entrepreneur now, what's your vision? Where are you trying to go with this? Do you want to go to the moon? You want to go to Mars? Where do you want to go? Then we have to have a mission. Okay, how are we going to get there? What's the steps to getting there? Which is really what your goals are. So when you think of it from a NASA perspective, the mission is the goals. It's a step-by-step progression. I mean, it's like what Dave is doing. You know, Dave, you give Dave a vision. I want to create this game-changing software that's never been done before using AI as a basis. That's my vision. And then what Dave and his team does is they had to break that down into all these steps, these goals and things like that. That's the mission. And each department has kind of its own mission as you're going through there. So you have to have the goals. I would say in most businesses, Brian, there are no goals. Okay. So the owner has it in his brain. The vision doesn't communicate it to anybody because it's important. Then when we set a vision, nobody knows about it. Or he says, well, I told them what it was. And I tell people a vision is like a bucket with holes in it. You have to constantly go back and reinforce your vision. Every month you should have a meeting that's just a vision meeting. Say, okay, let's remember what we're here for. We're here to get a man on the moon. Everybody clear on that? Oh yeah, thanks, coach. I forgot. Right. I'm just pissed off at the people at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory because they can't get the rocket to go faster. Right. And so, you know, so you have to continue to bring people together. I encourage you to bring them together weekly because I think, again, the holes in the bucket in the beginning, like what you guys are pretty big. And it's pretty easy to lose sight of that vision. So then the mission or the goal is there. So once you set your goal for the dealership or for the business, then you have to say, well, my goal for the business is this, but now I got to break it down by department. So my sales department goal is this, my parts department goal is this, and my service department goal is this, and maybe my rental department goal is that. So we have that conversation though with the managers of the department. So they all understand for us to get to the moon, all of these things have to happen. I mean, when you think about software, I mean, Dave, you've got I think it's Joe that does all of your
flows and
there's so many parts to developing good software that nobody ever sees. You see it when you use it, but you're unaware that there was a guy that laid all this stuff out. So it made sense. You know, so again, so they may be invisible to the part of it. But again, you know, it's the you know, at some point in NASA, somebody had to come up with food these guys could eat in space. Which is why we had Tang. I know you probably don't remember Tang.
I do remember Tang.
Okay, so Tang was developed to go into space. Microwaves were created for the space program to do the things there. So again, there's a lot of people that aren't even recognized as a space program, but we couldn't have done it without them. It's those small little pieces there. So then again, having the clear goals by department and then have some sort of measurement. Okay, like you said, it's the KPIs, the key performance indicators. So what's the key performance indicators in sales that are going to relate to the goal that's going to get us to our vision? Same thing with parts, same thing with service things, same thing with rentals, and then how do we measure those? Again, which is what your software does. But again, how do we measure those and how often should we measure them? Well, you should be measuring your KPIs on a daily basis. You know, I tell people I'm a pilot, you know, and if you're flying and you're off by 1 degree, you know, over an 8-hour period of time, you're going to miss your airport by about 16 miles. Okay. So in an airplane, right, you're constantly readjusting because what's happening when you're in the air, it's the same thing in business. Wind is moving you around. Turbulence is moving you around. An airplane does not fly a straight path. It is constantly readjusting itself based upon the outside conditions because your vision is to land in Kansas City.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And so to get there, it has to constantly adjust. And so all the equipment's doing that, but it's the same thing. And then in your dealership, what are your KPIs? And I think, again, you have to figure out what are the key performance indicators in sales. I always tell salespeople your key performance indicators are number of leads to get a prospect and how many prospects does it take to get a sale. So your key performance indicator is how many leads do I need every day?
Yeah.
And so that's the measurement there. Same thing in service. You're looking at tech efficiency or productivity, things like that. But I think that's really what it is. I think from a leadership standpoint, again, it's having a vision, right? Setting the mission or the goals, right? And then setting up measurables to make sure that we're on track with those things.
Well, and I think by doing those things, that comes back to turning on that light, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is I've set the goals, I've set the expectations. I now have taught you how to read and understand the KPIs, and so the lights are on, right?
Right, absolutely.
And I talk about it all the time with my team. Is I probably overshare what's happening in our business with my whole team, but it to some extent helps them understand my vision. Right. And my vision changes a lot because there's so many different variables. And it's one of those, like, I know where I wanted this to start out, but as Cass and Mike say, like I've pivoted, I don't know, 72,000 times. And then when you get a phone call from, I don't know, Lamborghini, you go, okay,
sure, I'll take a call.
might have pivoted my my direction a little bit, but I still have the same vision, right? It's how we're getting to that vision might be pivoted a little bit. But I continually overshare, and that creates, first off, understanding of my vision. Second off, it creates accountability in my team, because it's like, okay, here's my vision. Here's what I need you to do. Here's what I need you to do. I set very clear goals, right? And if something doesn't happen, then the lights are on. If you fuck up, you fuck up. But everybody on my team is very good at going, that was me. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. We'll figure it out. Or it comes back to, hey, I know you asked me to do this. I reached out for help and I wasn't able to get that help. And then that comes back onto me going, okay, I set a goal for you. I set a vision for you. I set a task, and I'm monitoring your KPIs, but I'm not giving you all the tools to do that.
And that's a piece of it. I did a workshop on Tuesday for all of our managers, for all of our dealerships, and it was how to motivate unmotivated employees. And the number one thing that creates, because I always tell all my dealers, they say, well, I have people that just don't want to be here. And I go, well, they didn't start that way.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody hires a person and the person comes in for the interview and says, look, I suck. Yeah. I'm never going to show up on time. Right. I'm going to take a long lunch break, and I really enjoy weed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I tell people, you didn't hire that person. The person you hired was motivated. So what did you do to make them unmotivated?
Yeah.
And I said, the number one thing is clarity. You didn't have clarity with them. They didn't know what to expect. And I think that's a piece of it. I would challenge anybody to say, I can be too transparent, because I don't think you can. I read a book back in the 70s called The Great Game of Business. It was written by a gentleman by the name of Jack Stack. Jack turned around the business called Springfield Engine Remanufacturing down in Springfield, Missouri. It's a phenomenal book. He even created a game with it. But one of the things that Jack did as the owner of Springfield Remanufacturing, he bought it from International Harvester, was a tractor dealer back then. And they were dying. They were dying.
Yeah.
And so what he decided to do is, my people don't understand business.
Yeah.
And so he started, everybody that was a brand new hire, he taught them how to read financials.
Yeah.
And then he had the financials specifically for that line every week out there. And his people got bonuses based upon them hitting the numbers.
Absolutely.
So he taught them how to read financials. And I think his point in the whole book is, you can't be too transparent.
Yeah.
I think, again, we had Cass and Mike on, and they were talking about they had sold a business and had to end up buying it back, and it was broke, and they couldn't pay the employees. And Cass and Mike said, hey, we don't have any money, right? They didn't blow smoke up their backsides. They said, we don't have any money. We can't pay you. And so I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
And I think Cass had mentioned, and everybody said, we don't care. We want to work for you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they turned the whole company around because of the people.
Yeah.
So you might say, well, should I tell my people that I can't make payroll? Hell yes, tell your people you can't make people.
Yeah.
Don't make it a surprise on them.
Yeah.
Right. They will respect that. And the people that want to be a part of that tribe say, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right. I'll get by. I want to help you get by. And
Yeah.
so, so again, I think there's shit that happens in business that's ugly sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm just a big believer after 40 years in this, that I think transparency is what it's all about. And if you're gonna have some people that don't want to hear it, well, then they shouldn't be on your tribe.
Yeah.
Let's take them off the island. Right?
100%.
But let's find somebody else that we can get on the tribe there too. Because again, the people you have on your tribe right now may not be the right people on your tribe. So part of your job again is just to make sure you got the players there.
Well, I mean, and with that, right, is when you do see success, right, when you do hit those KPIs, when you do hit those metrics, you celebrate it, right?
Absolutely.
Celebrate it as a team, not just an individual. If the sales department hits their quota, right, if they hit what their goal was, it wasn't because the sales department was the only one involved with that. The service department. And so if I have technicians who are sitting out here who busted their ass to do 300 PDIs,
right,
and the sales department gets a pizza party, invite the technicians who allowed them to do that, right? And that right there is celebrate every siloed win.
Absolutely.
And then that breaks down the silos.
Yeah, you do. But you see that happen. Say, oh yeah, we're going to have a big celebration with the sales department. Well, you just pissed off your parts and your service department.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the sales department couldn't done it if those other two departments didn't. So I'm with you. It's a matter of making sure that, when we win big in one department, we win big in all departments.
Absolutely.
And so we do that celebration. I have that happen in service. In service departments, we are very green oriented. We recycle metals and stuff like that. We don't dump oil out on the gravel. Most of our dealerships have oil burners, so we use the used oil to heat our shops with in the wintertime. So very environmentally conscious as a part of that. And so we recycle tons of metal in it. And we have probably most of these dealerships, a 10 or a 20-yard metal dumpster that they come and pick up. And then we all that money comes back in cash.
Yeah.
And then our service departments throws a party for the whole dealership and say, hey, this is all money that's free money to us. So we're having a pizza party today for everything, or we're doing a barbecue today for everybody there. And again, because it wasn't the service department that did it. It was the parts department that sold the parts. It was the sales department that sold the equipment that we got to do it. And that's what makes it fun. So everybody's back there having pizza. We sold the metals, and, the dealership didn't keep it for profit. It's there to, let's just have a party with it. Let's have some fun with it. So, and I see some that do it the other way, where the service department just buys pizza for themselves, and then it just pisses off the parts in the sales department. Absolutely. It's like, we're a tribe, right? We're all in here together. I need some people fishing. I need some people cooking. I need some people washing clothes. Yeah. We're a tribe, and it takes us all to make this whole thing work.
Well, that was something, especially when I was going into dealerships as a consultant, right? And I primarily worked with service and parts department. I didn't do a whole lot with sales. But when I made my Panera bagel order, or I picked up donuts for everybody, I included everybody. Single person, because I knew I needed the sales department to communicate with my service department better, so that my service department can communicate with my parts department, which then could feed it. Like you said, it's all connected. It's a big body, right?
Right.
We have a spine, we have a heart, and we have blood.
Exactly. You're a living organism. Yeah, exactly.
And every business is that. It's not just in dealerships, right? Every business has, something that holds them upright. They have something that's pumping, and then you have the lifeline of your business. Every business has that. And so you have to be able to celebrate that. And you have to shift from this, whose fault is this, to what can we do to fix it? Or, hey, you didn't succeed, to how can we help make you win? How can we help you succeed? And I think that's a shift that every business has to take, whether it's an old business, whether it's a brand new business. If it's a new business, it's a little bit easier because you can create that environment where the boogeyman never exists. On an older business, I've been into so many dealerships where that boogeyman was a technician.
Absolutely.
That never wanted to do anything, but we couldn't get rid of him because he had 60 years of knowledge.
Yeah. He was the uncle.
Yeah.
Or Dad, I love you, but we're going to fire you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's that shift. And whether, again, you're a new business, if you're a new business starting out, prevent the boogeyman effect from coming into your business.
Yeah, it's always going to be there, Lo. I just say, I think you have to be so vigilant because it's not it's not anything you do that will prevent it. The boogeyman is always knocking on the door.
Absolutely.
Right. And you just have to be aware of that and be conscious of it. But again, I think, how we prevent the boogeyman from coming in is we have those weekly meetings. And in the dealerships that we work with, I have the once a month.
Yeah.
We have departmental meetings, and many times I'm on them. And when I first teaching people how to do it, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the service manager for you right now. So Brian, I know you're a service manager, but I'm going to take your role for a second. And here's the question as a service manager I'm going to ask. So I'm going to say, parts manager, what am I doing in service that's screwing up your life?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just be honest with me. What am I doing in service that's screwing up your life? And they go, well, it'd be nice if I got more heads up on this and more heads up on that. And I go, is there anything else? And they go, well, no, if you could solve those things, that'd be great. And it says, okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say, as a service manager, I'm going to say, okay, Mary, you're the service sales manager. So Mary, what are we doing in service that's screwing up your life?
Yeah.
And we kind of go through that same process. And I say, okay, now I'm going to be the parts manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, hey, Brian, as a parts manager, what am I doing to screwing your life up in service?
Yeah.
And so what that does is it gets the boogeyman out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're screwing me up, Brian, in parts. I'm saying, what am I doing, Brian, to your service department as a parts manager that's screwing you up in service? And I do that a couple of times, and then pretty soon the boogeyman goes away.
Absolutely.
Right. Because everybody's now communicating, and we're communicating with, I don't do things intentionally to screw up the parts department in service. I'm not even aware that I'm doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
But that conversation again gets rid of that boogeyman.
Yeah.
I find that's the best way to do it. Just have a monthly meeting with department heads, or just if you got 3 people in your small little business.
Yeah.
Right. Because we all start out with 1 and we grow from there. But if you've only got yourself, then you should ask yourself, what am I doing to screw up my life? I'm blaming the economy or whatever. But again, just having that conversation, that's an honest conversation. Say, what am I doing that's screwing up marketing? What am I doing that's marketing? What am I doing that's screwing up sales? And again, so if I ask the question, right, then it's not antagonistic toward you. I'm asking you, help me understand what I'm doing in my department that's messing up your department.
Absolutely.
And it changes the whole attitude of everybody.
Well, and I will say, to kind of go back onto last week's podcast that we did too, is there can become a time where the boogeyman is not a person.
Exactly.
Right? And that can come back is if your parts person goes, well, if you could create your work orders or send me your pick tickets in this aspect, well, it's like, well, I would love to, but I don't have a software that can handle that. And so sometimes you also have to go back and going back and looking at our last episode is sometimes you actually have to find the software that can support your team in the way they need to be supported. Right. So anyway, I think that creating that communication is key.
It is, but I think to your point also, the boogeyman could be something that's not a person, but it could be a tool that you're using or a thing that you're using. Many times it is going to be the software. I think, again, we work a lot in service departments, and you've been around this a whole long time too. But we in the beginning we used hand tools. So we did that, and then we found out that, oh shit, it ultimately runs our hands, and we have carpal tunnel, and I have to have surgery on it. And so then we went to air tools. Yeah. Okay. So now we drug around a hose behind us all the time in the shop, and we had a huge compressor that was noisy as hell over there.
And a tripping hazard.
Yeah. And so we constantly are looking to improve our tools.
Yeah. Right.
And now I don't think there's any shop I've ever been into lately that doesn't use battery powered tools. You don't have a cord, you don't have anything there. They're more efficient, whatever. And I think that's the thing again is, if you're not willing to look even at the tools you use, because your tools could be the boogeyman. Yeah. There's nobody today that I know would hand wrench off anything anymore. Oh yeah. I don't even know. It's like a drill. I mean, you used to have a thing called a brace and bit. You could put a bit in it and you crank the handle on it. You turned it. That's how Noah built the ark, I think. But anyway, who today doesn't have a cordless drill? Yeah. And would you ever go back to a corded drill or do a hand drill? No. And that's kind of with your tools. I mean, that's the thing about Triton. I think Triton is it's going to take dealerships in a level they never even believed before, because you're really using the power of AI. Yeah. But it's to me, it's like going from air tools. Yeah. I'm dragging a hose, and it works. Yeah. But I still got this stupid ass hose that I'm dragging around. Oh, and I'm restricted on what I can do because I can only go as far as the hose goes. Absolutely. The software will only take me so far. Yeah. Going to a battery tool that I have total flexibility. I can walk around in my hand. I can go outside, inside out. And I think that's especially with your software, it gives you that total freedom to do whatever you want to do. But and you have to look at that. You have to look at your accounting software. You have to look at all those things and say, maybe my problem in my business It's not my people. I just don't have the right tools for them.
Absolutely.
But the tool could be the boogeyman.
It is. And sometimes the boogeyman's the boogeyman. I've been in businesses where it's like, pretty sure this is haunted. You know, and it's like, well,
this person I think is evil.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to bring you? Like a cross, some garlic,
yeah.
and silver bullets. That's what I'm bringing in today. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm bringing in the cross, garlic, and silver bullets.
Dunkin' Donuts is not going to cut it on this one.
It is not. So yeah.
But so as we're closing, I'm gonna hit you with 2 rapid fire kind of questions as we kind of close this out. So first question, one boogeyman every leader should stop creating.
Yourself. Don't blame your people, blame yourself.
Yeah.
I wrote a book called You're the Problem and the Solution.
Uh-huh.
And I tell people again, you're the one, right?
Yeah.
So as an owner, it's your job to get rid of the boogeyman and not create it, right? To make yourself feel better. So that would be me. One boogeyman every leader should stop creating is anything that takes your people away from your vision.
Okay.
Right. And just take responsibility for making sure that you have clarity, you have a good vision.
Yeah.
And I'm going to challenge everybody on here. You know, if you're a new entrepreneur, even if you're a business that is successful, go back and reclarify your vision.
Yeah.
Is it still, I mean, if you've been in business 10 years, is the vision still the same? It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
If you started your business 10 years ago and you're still working off of the same vision, right? You should be thinking about going to Mars. Elon Musk doesn't want to go to the moon.
Yeah. No.
Moon's been done. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going like, screw the moon.
Yeah.
We've already been there.
Yeah.
I want to go to Mars.
Yeah.
You know, so I would challenge people that have been in business for a while. You may be satisfied. And when you're satisfied and you're relaxed, the boogeyman shows up.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
And so maybe go back and recast your vision again.
Well, absolutely. And to that, right, is pivoting, right, is because his ultimate goal, right, has been, I'm going to go to Mars.
Absolutely.
Right. But his small goals, his kind of KPIs, we'll call it, was, okay, everyone can shoot a rocket off.
Exactly.
Who can land one?
Who can bring it back?
You know?
Absolutely. But I mean, that's it. Yeah.
And those were his little things, because, I mean, he's building all of his KPIs to get him to the goal, to get him to that vision, right? As I know, if we get to Mars, right, we've got to be able to land a rocket that we
should probably work on that.
Take it back off in a somewhat controlled environment.
Exactly.
But anyways, I mean, that's kind of that. So what does accountability actually look like day to day as an entrepreneur?
I think, again, you know, every day I meet with my team every day. I meet with Jeff. I met with Jeff today. We were just talking, how's it going? What's going on? Anything I can help you with? Sarah's traveling today, so I didn't meet with her. But again, then I also spend time walking around and talking. I don't manage the employees anymore, but I still talk to them all. Right?
Yeah.
How's it going? What's going on? Anything I can do to help you out? So my job as a owner is to be a resource.
Yeah.
You know, I've given them the vision. They know where we're going. They know what we're trying to do. My job is saying, I'm here to help you. What barrier can I take down? What hurdle can I move out of your way? What resource do you need that we need to get you here? And I think that's what my job is. As an owner, it's to provide you vision, give you clarity, know what you're being measured by. And the rest of my job is to help you get there. I don't need to manage you. I need to lead you. This is where we're going. What can I do as a leader to help you do your job?
Yeah.
So I think that's a part of it.
Absolutely. So with that, I mean, our final kind of reflection on all of this is just remember, the boogeyman disappears as soon as you turn the lights
Absolutely.
on. Right.
Absolutely.
The lights come on, the boogeyman disappears.
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old at home, and she could be walking down the stairs, seeing someone, you know, her brother or sister at the top of the stairs, me at the bottom of the stairs, but the stairs are dark and it scares her to death. As soon as you flip the light on, right, she's like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's a 12-step staircase.
Absolutely.
You know, but it removes that fear. It removes that uncomfortableness.
Exactly.
And when people are uncomfortable, when there is a boogeyman lurking in a business, it actually creates a lot of, I would say, even burnout. We'll go back to the ELO side of things. It creates burnout because you're always watching your back. It's like, who's going to blame me for what?
Exactly. The stress is enormous.
And so you don't progress, you defend. Like, a defending army never is a winning army. No. Yeah, right? You gotta go on the attack.
Yeah, you're saying now you pull back in because you're afraid of moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I would venture to say, and I don't know Elon Musk, I'd love to meet him someday. I think he's probably one of the most brilliant men out there. But he lets his people fail.
Yeah.
And they know
absolutely.
that so the rocket blew up, it was a rapid disassembly.
Yeah.
It was
absolutely.
really pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right. And they know they're going to have some blow up, and this is not an inexpensive explosion.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But again, they know they're not going to be in trouble because they're learning from it. I mean, everything
Absolutely.
that happens that goes wrong is the way that they got to the point where they can now have this rocket reland itself back on this pad again.
Yeah.
So that's part of
Absolutely.
it.
But with that, we are gonna end it for tonight. We are going to unplug. If you haven't already gone and watched Liquid Death's thing, we're gonna go ahead and drink the beer version.
Yeah. There is no beer. There is no
water.
beer version.
Oh,
It's just water. Really?
Then
It
why
looks like beer.
why feels like beer?
Yeah.
Why are we selling it? No, but,
It's a great. Their commercials are great.
Yeah. So with that, we appreciate everybody who's on here. We will join you next week. Next week is going to be a little different. Bob and I are going to actually be out of the podcast studio next week. We will be in joyous French Lick, Indiana.
Yeah, doing it.
Next week. So don't know exactly how that podcast is going to look and who we could have on as a guest, because it could be.
Yeah. So I'm speaking down there for a big distributor, and Brian and Triton are doing their first show.
Yeah.
At this one, so it'll be a fun event.
It'll be fun. But with that, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody who has been on here and watched and has commented throughout the whole show. So.
Dave, do a better job.
Dave,
don't disappoint me.
Yes, Dave, you don't disappoint me at all. So I appreciate everything you're doing. Don't quit tonight. But no, with that, we thank you guys all so much. You guys make this a blast to do. We truly enjoy doing it. But with that, we will catch everyone next week. So everybody have a good night, and we are going to unplug.
Never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show them this new power of mine. When words is where we landed, we're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Gracie Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When words is where we landed, we're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose.
Had a